This is Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 80, the Sudama pastime, text 7 onwards. Here, the Leela of Sudama is being described. And his situation, first his qualities were described, and then his situation will be described. In this verse, Yadruchayo papannena vartamano grahashrami tasya bharya kuchailasya kshutshama chitatha vidha. So what was his way of living? Yadruchaya chopapannena. Yadruchaya means by destiny, by divine will, by its own accord. So this is a theme which comes in the sacred scriptures quite often. Yadruchalabh santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha. That comes in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also, when it described the qualities of a self-realized person. So destiny, whatever it gives, he was accepting and he was content with that. Yadruchayo papannena vartamano grahashrami. That's how he was maintaining his grahastashram. And tasya bharya kuchailasya. Now the situation of his wife is described. Bharya kuchailasya, that her clothes were quite poor. They were not at all opulent, not necessarily, not at all new, not at all attractive. He was poorly dressed. The poorly is not because of poor aesthetic sense of dressing, but just because of poverty. Kshut kshama chitatha vidha. Kshut kshama. So kshut is hunger. It is said the word Kshut has come earlier many times with respect to Parikshit Maharaj having conquered his hunger because of remembering Krishna through the pastime, through drinking the nectar of Krishna's pastimes. So Kshama is here. She's emaciated. She become Tatha Vidha. This was their plight. So this verse describes the plight of his wife. And sometimes when we seek something, is it a desire or is it a need? So for example, if somebody says, I am looking for a gulab jamun, or I am looking for a son papadi or malpoa. Now these are delicacies. So generally when we talk about desire and need, what is the differentiation? The need is often functional. It is required for functioning. In the sense, functional means it's required for functioning. Now desire is often psychological. It's not functional, but it is more of, it's created by the mind. Oh, I want this. And often need is general. General means, okay, I want some food. Do you have some food? If a beggar comes and says, can you give me a pakoda or a pizza? Now, that is a very specific, what kind of beggar is this, we may say. If you're really a beggar, you should be grateful for whatever you get. You get some food. So need generally arises from the body. So in this case, the plight is described to indicate that what she was asking for was not a craving for wealth or comfort. It was a need for living for her. So in her case, and even in his case, it was a need, but she felt the need much more, and thus she was going to ask him something. Her further attributes are described. Pativrata patim praha. Layat vadanena sa daridram sidamana vai vepamana bhigamya cha. So she was Pativrata. She accepted that her husband was never going to be wealthy, was not of the nature where he would seek a lot of wealth. She accepted that, and yet she spoke to him. Mlayata vadanena sa, that her face was drying up because of weakness. Sometimes if you fast for a long time, then the face sinks in, so it dries up. Like that it happened. Daridram sidhamana vai. Daridram. So daridrya is a state of not just poverty but severe poverty. Vepamana bhigamya cha. So her whole body was trembling. Now when it's trembling, it's interesting. Why was she trembling? It could be because of body. It was because of the body, or it could be because of the mind. That her body was so weak that when she came, she was physically trembling. And it could also be because of the mind, that she was in fear. That the body could be weak or the mind could be fearful. She knew that her request would not be very pleasing to her husband, and she knew how he was devoted to the Lord, and because he was devoted to the Lord, so naturally, because of that, he would not want to ask anything from the Lord. That's why what she was requesting might not be very pleasing to him. Nonetheless, she was going to ask him because it was a vital need for her at this particular point. Nanu Brahman Bhagavatah Sakha Sakshat Shriyapati Brahmanyascha Sharanyascha Bhagwan Sattvatarshabha. So Nanu is indeed, certainly, Brahman Bhagavatah, that oh Brahmana, oh my Lord, my husband, Bhagavatah, the Supreme Lord. So she's saying, you Brahman Bhagavatah. So Bhagavan refers to Supreme Lord. Bhagavatah is the second person reference over here. O Brahmana, O exalted self, Sakha Saksha Shriyapati, your own friend. So she's saying your friend is who? He is Shriyapati. He is actually the Lord of the goddess of fortune, Shriyapati. So why should you live in such shortage? Why should you live in such lacking or wanting? Brahmanyascha Sharanyascha. Now he is not just the Lord of the goddess of fortune, he is also compassionate to the Brahmanas. So he is Namo Brahmanya Devaya, as we say. He is Brahmanapate. Brahmanya Devaya. He is Brahmanascha Sharanyascha. He is kind to Brahmanas. So first, he has enough. He has more than enough. He has riches upon riches. And he is kind to Brahmanas. And thirdly, Bhagwan Sattvatarshabha, that Lord. So the Bhagavata and Bhagwan refer to two different things over here. It's implied that he is your friend. So the idea is that why are we making a request? So he has abundance, and he is generous in general, and he is also related to you. He is specifically affectionate to you because he is your friend. So surely for these three reasons, he will provide us some things. So she's building up her request. Sometimes people have so much wealth that even if they lose something, they won't even notice it. They have so much abundance. And thus she's saying, please, can you go and ask him? Tab upaiti mahabhaga sadhunam cha parayanam dasyati dravinam bhuri Sidate te kutumbine. So he's saying, if you approach him, Mahabhaga. So now she could have said, my husband is so wretched, he has no wealth. But she's calling her husband as Mahabhaga because you could talk about 3 different levels. That the fact that he is a Brahmana, to be born in a Brahman family, that itself is at one level Mahabhaga. Second is that he is a detached and satisfied Brahmana. So he is detached. That is also fortune. If somebody is not detached, then they have fortune and yet they are dissatisfied. So fortune is not just in terms of the possessions that we have, but also in the terms of the disposition that we have. So some people can be dissatisfied with a lot and others can be satisfied with a little. So detached and content, that is it. And then he's a friend of Krishna. That is the 3rd level of fortune. So Mahabhaga. So she's saying that he is your friend and that is glorious. So therefore, sadhunam cha parayanam. She's again bringing up the same point she had mentioned earlier, that he is always kind to the sadhus. He's devoted to the sadhus. His parayanam is his ultimate shelter. Dasyati dravinam bhuri. Therefore, he will give wealth. He will certainly give you wealth. Dasyati bruvinam bruhi. And what will happen with that wealth? Sidatete kutumbine. That the suffering that we are having in maintaining our family, that suffering will be removed if he gives you abundant wealth. So therefore she is saying, please go to him and seek his help. So broadly, the request is based on our need, his nature, and your relationship, your position. So you could say broadly that she is making her request based on 3 factors: that we are in great poverty and great need, that he is wealthy and he is compassionate to Brahmanas, and you are a Brahmana and you also have a relationship as a friend with him. So please go and ask him. Thank you.